So there's this saying that the eyes are a window into a person's soul. Well, I think that box art is sort of the window into a video game soul. Alright, let's kick the dramatics. We're talking about some of the best and worst box art of 2020 so far, starting with Resident Evil 3. I really dig this box art. I think it's really cool. It does look a little cheesy. It does look a little generic. It's certainly not my favorite of the year, but it is very good. I dig the color. I love how Nemesis is just ominously looking down on our heroes. Could have used a little more color, maybe a little purple. Maybe they could have faded Nemesis in a little more with the background. There's definitely some stuff that could have spruced up the box art, but it's pretty good. It's pretty solid, and certainly a lot better than the original Nemesis box art, which, no thank you. No thank you at all. This looks really cool. They found a really decent middle ground of showcasing the heroes and showcasing the villain, and it works. It is composited correctly. The next box art I want to talk about sort of started a frenzy on Twitter. I remember so many people talking about this box art, and I'm still not sure how I really feel about it after all these months. We're talking about Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. Okay, first things first, it's not terrible. It's certainly not terrible. It's just sort of reminiscent of what Spider-Man did on the PS4 a couple years ago. A lot of people made those comparisons. People said that they were ripping it off. I wouldn't go that far for sure. But it is, I don't know. It's still, I kind of like it because of how different it is between all of the other Dragon Ball Z games. Most anime games, especially Dragon Ball Z games, love to just cram so many characters. Just like every single character on the roster on the box art, and it usually looks very, very poor. Here, they decided to do away with all of that. Let's just get a PNG of Goku in Photoshop, get some drop shadow, throw in an orange background. There we have it. There's the logo. It's I don't know. It definitely doesn't strike me as like something super creative, but it's definitely a take. It's something different because the game is something different. I love it when a box art is indicative of the title itself. And here they kind of have that. It is a game about Kakarot. It is a game about Goku. You're going through Dragon Ball Z. I definitely would have done things a little bit different. I think I would have faded out the orange a little bit and had like other characters there, just like faded. Have like Cell and Vegeta and Trunks and stuff like that, just sort of blurred images of them in the background. You could even have like just like scenes, like maybe silhouetted scenes of certain sagas and stuff like that that happen throughout Z. There's some interesting things that they could have done, but I don't know. It's not a terrible box art. It's certainly one of the more interesting ones, though, I'll say that. Let's talk about the worst box art of the year so far. One of my least favorite box arts for sure. That is Streets of Rage 4. I don't like this, man. I really don't. I'm sorry. It is a limited run box art. It's not like this is a full-on physical release of a game. It is a limited run. It is technically a special edition, so that kind of makes me even more disappointed. I just wish there was more color here. I really do. There's just not much color. This character in the background is super dark. There's a lot of shadow on him. There's a lot of shadow on the rest of the cast as well. Boring white background. The actual logo itself doesn't really pop very much. It's kind of hard to read, especially from far away. It's just weird. It's really, really weird to me because this game, it's one of the best games of the year. It's extremely colorful. The art style is incredible in Streets of Rage 4, and that's just not showcased here to me. It's a good piece for sure. I just don't think it works with the box art. They should have had like, wait, this is a box art that I actually would have liked to see a ton of characters on it, all stacked on top of each other, all these different colors, crazy neon backgrounds. I would have preferred to see something more along the lines of that. They definitely tried something different. I'll give them props for that, but it's just not working for me. It's kind of a disaster, actually. One of the more interesting box arts is Journey to the Savage Planet. Again, it's not particularly outstanding or anything like that, but there's tons of color. And I sort of love the Journey to the Savage Planet. These big words reminds me of like an old like 1970s horror film or something. I kind of dig that. Kind of works. It reminds me of like Land of the Lost, I should say. These just like big impact font words. Dig the weird little bird dude, dig all the colors, dig the astronaut. I heard the game was atrocious, but the box art is pretty interesting. It's definitely something that I would see at GameStop, look at and be like, hey, this looks kind of cool. I would look at the back of the box. I would look it up on my phone or something. It's definitely interesting, and they tried something different, so I gotta give them props. I definitely do. Another box art that I really like is sort of a re-release of a game, and that's Street Fighter V Championship Edition. I dig this. Again, it's super cheesy, it's super simple, but I like the duality here. I love seeing Ryu on one side, Chun-Li on the other, red and blue. That Street Fighter V logo, it looks fantastic. It's one of my favorite fighting game logos ever made. I dig this box art. I really do. Again, I know it is cheesy. I know it is simple, but they've sold this game like 5 times. There's only so much they can do with it. It really works for me. It really does. Another one of my least favorite box arts of the year has to be My Hero Wants Justice 2. Good God, man. Oh my goodness, it's so bad. Why is All Might so dark? Why is he not singing valiantly on this box art? Why is everything so dark? This is one of the most colorful, beautiful looking anime that exists right now, and everything looks so dark and miserable. I don't get it. What are they trying to sell this game to? Like, people that don't know what My Hero Academia is? Like, no, you were making this game for the fans. Showcase that. Showcase the beautiful, colorful cast of characters. I do sort of dig the composition of, like, Deku fighting this Hawks guy. I dig that stuff. I dig the lightning and, like, all the action for sure. I love capturing action on a box art. That's good. But they're just PNGs, man. It's not even like a full composition. It's not a piece of art. It's literally just individual models of a character. There's actually, you can see the outer glow and drop shadow on them. Honestly, I could make a better a lot of people could make a better box art of this in Photoshop. It's kind of a travesty, actually. I think I've actually seen fan box art that looks significantly better than this. Very, very disappointed, especially for something that's supposed to be so colorful, so bright, so brash, and it's just not here for me at all. Literally the opposite of sort of the style of My Hero Academia's box art is Persona 5 Royal, certainly a way more significant game. Persona 5 Royal, this box art looks outstanding. There's so many characters, but they're not just individual PNGs, it's a full composition of art. It's a full piece of artwork that was drawn. It looks outstanding. There's so many characters, you kind of lose track of how many characters are on the box art, but it is a re-release. It is showcasing, like, hey, all your favorite characters are coming back, we're doing this again, it's party time. That's sort of what the box art tells me. And again, the art style is fantastic. These characters look fantastic. It's super colorful, super bright. It's inviting. It makes me want to play the game. It's not like One's Justice, where it's just like brooding for some reason, which is so weird because that is the opposite of what that IP is. And Persona 5 is probably darker, way darker than My Hero. So I don't know. I don't really know what they're trying to do there. But the Royal box art looks fantastic. I definitely love it. Talking about cramming a crap ton of characters on a box art, we have Grand Blue Fantasy Versus. This box art is ridiculously bad. What are we doing here? Just a horrible background. All these characters in the shape of a V. Kind of dig that, I guess. But let's zoom in, please. It's just like all these characters just all blend in. I can only make out maybe 4 or 5 of them in the middle. But after that, I can't even see them anymore. And it's just PNGs, man. It's just the stuff that you find in the character select. It's not even a custom piece of art. That's so sad to me, because it's this game, this property is so rich in style and characters, and it's just not showcased here to me. Like, having a boring background like that, very, very disappointing. Very, very disappointing. To me, this Trials of Mana box art is like basically the exact same thing as the Grand Blue Versus one. Just a weird background. It looks like the overworld of the game, and then just like these weird characters that are just plopped onto each other. I don't dig it. This trend needs to stop. I don't dig this box art. Maybe people like this. Maybe this is like in test studies. They show that gamers love it when they just throw all these characters all in a box art and don't even care about the background or the actual composition of the piece. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that people are into, but I hate this. I really, really hate this. And it's so crazy to me because the collection of Mana game, sort of the big collection of all the previous Mana titles, has an amazing box art. It's like one of the best box arts of last year. That box art is ridiculous good because it's a custom piece of art that was designed. The logo could use a little work for sure, but the artwork is fantastic. And the sequel, this big bad game, a return, this remake of a fan favorite, being treated this way is so weird to me. It seems like they would try a little harder, do another big piece of artwork, but I guess not, man. I guess not. Here's this Predator Hunting Grounds box art. I don't know how I feel about it. You know, I was scrolling through video game box arts, this one popped up, I looked at it for like 15 minutes, just staring at it. The Marines, boring, like soldiers on a box art, really, really tired of that. I can't wait to see what the next Call of Duty box art looks like. But the Predator in the shape, you know, like the trees and everything, kind of interesting. It really is. It's very indicative of what this game is. You have Predator, he's there, but you don't see him, and that's kind of what this box art is showing us, and that's kind of cool. I kind of have to give them props for that. I'm not sure how big of a physical release this game got, but I kind of dig the box art. Again, it's dumb, it's cheesy, you don't even see these characters, but the whole Predator, I would just take out the characters and really focus in on just to shape a Predator. I don't know. They could have easily just had like some boring Marine with a cigar in his mouth in the box art, like a shadow of Predator, or they could have just had like Predator's face just plastered there, but they decided to do something a little more artistic, a little more interesting, and I guess it paid off. I'd probably give it like a 6 out of, that's a 5. It's a 5 out of 10. Speaking of 5s out of 10, this one might be a 6. We're talking about Neo 2. First things first, the Neo 2 logo, like this image, the PNG image, is outstanding. Neo, these big words that look like they're painted on the screen. Red 2, these horns coming out. Outstanding. This box art to me is just a little too generic. Just a little harkening back to the PS2 days. It is cool. I do dig the duality here. I dig seeing like this Oni side, the demon side, and having the human side. That's cool, having different backgrounds on both sides. You know what? I actually kind of dig this box art. I don't know why I was saying 5 or 6. This might be like a 7 or 8 for me, actually. Again, it is cheesy. It is generic, but something about it is, I'm kind of digging it. Maybe it's that fantastic logo. I would have just made that bigger, to be real with you. It's kind of a good box art. It's not doing anything crazy good. It's not doing anything crazy bad. It's sort of in that middle ground. Similar to like Resident Evil 3, I think. It's just kind of fun to look at. It's kind of just, it's cool to look at. All right, let's talk about the big boys. Let's talk about some of my actual favorite box arts of this year so far. First things first, Doom Eternal. My goodness, this box art is outstanding. This is the definition of a piece of artwork that was designed to be a box art. They designed this to be on the box. All of the promotional artwork for this game is outstanding. I think there was like 3 or 4 different alternate box arts for like special editions and stuff. They all looked cool. One of them had like angels and stuff on them. Like, oh my goodness, man. I love this box art because it tells you what this game is about. It's about killing demons. We're in hell. There's fire everywhere. There's color. I love that there's color in this box art. It's just so interesting to me. I really, really love it. It's another box art that I could look at for hours. I want it to be a poster on my wall. I love this box art. I think it's one of Doom's best box arts ever. Definitely a step up from the previous Doom game's box art. That one's just atrocious to me. Just a boring, like, one-tone character, just like a helmet. Like, I'm tired of that. That's like PS2 stuff. We're taking a step forward for sure. One of my favorite games of the year, one of the best box arts. I think it'll go down. I think it'll go down as one of the best of the year. Certainly one of my favorites. It's outstanding. Next we have Sakura Wars. I believe this is artwork from the Bleach author, Kubo. I dig this. I really do. It's very simple. It's very, very simple, but God, it's pulling it off so well. Having this beautifully designed character here, the pink, I love the little Sakura petal logo. Just fantastic. There's not much I can even say, to be honest with you. I sort of love this like faded background. That's something that they could have done with the Kakarot box art, actually. I really dig it. It's just it's chef's kiss. It's just so simple, but so effective. I love it. I heard the game was terrible, but God, the box art is just fantastic. And again, we're talking about faded backgrounds and white and simplistic. One of the best box arts of the year has to be Final Fantasy VII Remake. I had to put it there. I mean, when they first announced this box art, I teared up, man. I was about to start crying. It is just ridiculously good. Again, super simplistic. They're basing it off the original box art, but redoing it in a way that's just so interesting to look at. That model of Cloud on the box art looks ridiculous. His hair, man, the colors around him, the Mako, like, oh my goodness. It is so good. It is so freaking good. The only issue I have, and it's an issue that I've had with the marketing for this game for years now, and that's the meteor logo. I don't dig it. Why is it like made of metal? It looks like a pendant that you would like put on your suit pocket or something. I don't dig that. I really don't. I remember when the game was first announced, I thought for sure that they were going to change that. I didn't even think about it. Like, of course they're going to change that. They have not. They kept it. It's an interesting take for sure. It's not really working for me. I hope that in the next game they change that. I hope that there's probably going to be a new logo for the next game for all we know, but definitely don't like that. But it's still certainly one of the best box arts of this year. I think it will probably end up being my favorite. Definitely one of my favorite games of the year. It's just so beautiful. It's doing everything that we wanted it to do. So yeah. All right, now before I get onto my actual favorite box art of the year, you thought FF7 was going to be it? No, there's another one. But before we get onto that, I want to just talk about some games that are coming out in June. June's a couple of weeks away now at the time of recording this, and there's some box arts there that are definitely interesting. So I want to talk about SpongeBob. This box art's really great. I dig this, man. There's so much color. It's indicative of what SpongeBob looks like today, like the SpongeBob movie and that weird spin-off show they're doing. They're showcasing the brand in what it is. It does kind of look like the game too. Definitely looks better than the original Battle for Bikini Bottom box art, which is just like SpongeBob with an army hat on. This is so much more interesting than that. It's so much more colorful. It's simple, but it's just working so well to me. Logo could do a little work for me. The logo could do a little more work, but other than that, it's a good box art. It's a really good box art. It gets me excited for the game. It might be a disaster, but it gets me kind of excited. A box art that doesn't get me excited, and to me is looking like one of the worst box arts of this year. I would even say worse than the Streets of Rage 4 box art. I would say worse than a lot of the other box arts that I've talked about. And very reminiscent of Metal Gear Solid 4, which I think is one of the worst box arts ever made. I'm talking about The Last of Us 2. Now, I know this game is a hot topic. I'm only talking about the box art here. Only talking about the box art. Because the game is going to be incredible. I already know it. But this box art looks awful, man. It looks so bad. What are we doing? We are stepping backwards in time with this box art. We really are. Look at the original Last of Us box art. It's a piece of art, man. It is so good looking. And they just ignored that. I don't get it. I remember hearing stories of Naughty Dog fighting to get Ellie in the front of that box art. I remember Sony hearing that they wanted to have Joel in the front. Ellie's only going to be in the back of the box. Naughty Dog was like, no, we're not having that. Ellie needs to be at the forefront. And she is, because she's at the forefront of that entire game. And I'm sure she's at the forefront of this entire game as well, but I don't need to be inches away from her face. Like, I don't know. I'm really not digging it. If I saw this box art and I didn't know anything about this game, this wouldn't get me excited. This would not get me excited the way the original Last of Us did when I saw that box art. Wow, look at this world. Look at these characters. This is cool. It looks like a screenshot they took from the game. This looks like they just paused the game and zoomed in on Ellie's face in a dark corner and used that as the box art. I'm so disappointed. Maybe it's not the final piece of art yet. Maybe they have a box art up their sleeves. Maybe they'll reveal it weeks before launch. I doubt it. They've already shown special editions and things like that, steelbooks that have this artwork. I doubt it. Hopefully, fingers crossed, there is a better box art in the future. I don't think so. It looks so bad, man. It hurts me. It actually hurts me how bad this box art is. Very disappointed, Sony. Very disappointed for sure. All right, it's time to talk about my favorite box art of 2020 so far. It's one of the worst reviewed games of the year. But I think it has one of the best box arts of the year. So far. And that is Disaster Report 4. I mean, I'm looking at it right now. My God. It's just so good to me. It looks like an older game box art. It looks like something that would come out of Japan in 2005 to 2010. I love that. I love that fact about it. I love that there's not a face on the box art. It's kind of just like a piece of artwork. It looks like a scene that was just captured within the game. It's indicative of what the game is about. Again, we've talked about this with Doom. We've talked about this with other titles. It's indicative of that. It's a very somber game. We see destruction. I love this character in the front. She's hurt. She's wounded. She has this bandage around her. She's taking a rest there. We see these other characters in the background near the rubble. There's cars that are destroyed. I love the color here. I love the sort of storybook manga look where it's kind of faded around the sides. It looks like some old photograph someone would take of a disaster scene to me. It's a ridiculously good box art. I love it. I absolutely love it. Again, I know you guys will probably disagree with me. I know most people will probably say FF7 or Doom or maybe even Resident Evil, but man, I love this. I really do. I can't stop looking at it. I want this as a poster on my wall. I really do. I think it's saying something to me. I don't know. And I've heard the game is this weird disaster. There's aspects of the game that are super, super good, but most of it is pretty terrible, which is disappointing for sure. But seeing this box art and hearing some of the stories I've heard about the game, makes me want to play it, like really badly. I almost bought this game the other night. Am I going to buy this game? What is happening right now? This is the power of a box art. This is what a box art is designed to do. It is designed to get you attracted to the title. And I think that Disaster Report 4 is doing that tremendously, because I've heard horrible, bad stories about this game. It is a bad video game, but the box art makes me want to play it. And that's pretty much the whole theme of this video, right? Is that box arts really are the soul. Okay, that's enough of that now. This was a really fun video to record, I'm not gonna lie to you. I know I didn't talk about every single box art this year. We will do that at the end of the year, where I can really judge what the best box art is. This is sort of just a preview to that. And these are just sort of the box arts that I really wanted to talk about. There's definitely some gems here, there's definitely some stinkers, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to go through. If there's a box art that I missed, or a box art that you think is really good that I need to check out, comment that down below and I will look it up in Google Images in a heartbeat, and maybe even talk about it in a future video. I love box arts. They're super important. I mean, maybe they're not anymore because digital sales are surpassing physical sales. I don't really know, but there is always going to exist that key art. There's always going to exist some form of promotional image to get you invested into a title, and I will always be there to appreciate it, talk about it, and crap all over it as well. So yeah, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Again, make sure to hit the like button if you enjoyed anything that I had to talk about today. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and until next time, make all your dreams come true. Bye-bye.